Okay, so I'm gonna share something that I have kind of kept a secret because I guess I felt ashamed of this, and I think it comes from like old reaction to stuff, like when I was a kid or something. I don't know, but because I put that post up there about the truck, and I'm like, that's crazy thinking. What is? But then I thought, well, I mean, it's based on what I saw in Charlotte, and when people did what they did, and they were, it was all excused and not taken seriously, and a girl died, and it didn't matter, and all of that. So, I mean, it's based in something, but so at my, as you know, I recently resigned, and I went to a new company, and before I resigned, and this doesn't have anything to do with me resigning, although the timing, it's weird. So I had I was at the, I had my own office on site, on property, and one of the homeowners came up. She's really attractive. I didn't even know she was older. She looks a lot younger for her age. But she comes in and she's like, I'm really upset and I don't know what to do about this. And she goes on to explain that in her little part of the neighborhood, they all live, there's like these, all the streets shoot off from the middle, and they're little cul-de-sacs, and everybody, so she said everybody in her cul-de-sac, that she'd gotten to know, they all exchange numbers because they're just being neighborly. When they go out of town, they tell each other, and if they're, they pick up packages from the front doorstep for each other, things like that, just being neighborly. So she met her neighbor on her right side, I guess. It'd be, like she's facing out from her unit, it's on her right side. One of her neighbors, and they were talking, and she said, hey, we should exchange numbers because we all do that. And so he's like, sure. And so she gave him her number, and she said soon after, he started sending her really lewd, horrible messages with pictures. And she told him they're not welcome, to please stop, don't send them. And I can't remember if she blocked him soon after, but anyway, she came to the office and was like, I don't know what to do about this. I don't know if the HOA can do something about this. She's like, I'm so uncomfortable now. I walk around in the neighborhood all the time, and I run, and now I feel really weird. Like I feel like he's not safe. He's right next door. When he parks, his car is facing right into my bedroom window. She's like, I feel this whole thing has made me feel really weird. And I totally understood. I'm like, oh my gosh, so she forwarded the text to me. I told her, please don't forward the pictures. I don't want to see the pictures. But so she forwards the text to me, and then the next board meeting during executive session, when they talk about confidential items, we talked about that. We had the lawyer, attorney kind of advise them, and unfortunately, like when it comes to HOA stuff, it's the association. It's not the people. The board is just there to carry out association business, but they have very clear boundaries, and so the association isn't going to weigh in on neighbor to neighbor disputes. And unfortunately, that fell under that. It was frustrating because as people, everybody wanted to do something for her, but the HOA didn't really have legal standing to, and it would put them under more liability if the HOA did. And I understood it, but I didn't like it. So, I wrote her a letter saying what the determination was, but that, she supported in whatever she needs from management or the HOA to file whatever protective order or whatever that she needed. And so it turns out that this guy had acted out before, and he had mentioned that he has he's a little bit in the public eye. Anyway, so he has a very extreme podcast, I found out, and which is whatever, I didn't think too much about that. I just, whatever. So, I mean, I had my own thoughts about that. Like, wow, that's interesting behavior. But anyway, other than that, so over other things that had to do with other things, I had to make a choice and resign. I get over to the new company, and I get a portfolio of accounts, and one of the communities, I'm on the phone with the board member, and she's telling me about how they just got out of court. It's been a long court battle, and they finally got the judgment. They didn't get everything, but they got something, and the community is now protected because there's a guy who had been threatening to kill his neighbors, and had been because one was Jewish and one's gay, and he tried to attack a woman in a wheelchair, and he went after another woman, and then she said his name, and it was the same guy, and I was like, oh wow, that's the same guy. I mean, it's so bad that he got banned from his own home in that community because he's not allowed on the community property anymore. And so since it was public record, I told my old boss, listen, you need to maybe take any further complaints seriously, because it seems like this guy is an accident waiting to happen. I get the feeling like it's not if he's going to end up hurting somebody, it's when, because he's really crossed the line with things. There was more to the story, and I was like, so he said, well, wow, he's like, it's funny you mentioned that. I didn't know if I should tell you this, but now that you're letting me know that you're actually managing another community and he's in there, you need to know that the day after you left, I guess he didn't know you weren't here anymore, and he sent you like all day long emails, calling me every name in the book, every racial slur you can think of, death threat after death threat after death threat. And I'm like, what did I do to him? I never even communicated with him. And he's like, I don't know, but you need to know that, because now you're managing this other community, and he's in there, and it's a safety matter for you too. So, I had to have a conversation with my boss, and I mean, my first few days, and tell them the situation. I hate it when I have to go into a new thing and it gets complicated, but so. Yeah, that happened, and so if I seem over the top with some of this stuff, the one thing that I felt before November 5th was, well, at least there's laws that can protect me, and I'm gonna file an order of protection and yada yada yada. And then the election happened, and I'm getting removed from that account too. I've been like in the shadows, so he doesn't see my name and know where I'm working. And I now that this has happened though, I don't even feel like I can file a protection order, because I don't know now if I would even be protected. You know what I mean? Especially since our the head sheriff guy, whatever you call him, he's a Proud Boy. Like, I don't know that. I mean, I feel like me putting my information into the system like that would just make me a target. I don't trust that wouldn't just like, my gut says, yeah, don't do that. That's not safe anymore. So I feel like I can't even ask for the protections as a citizen that I normally would, because the script has flipped so much that and in practicing some wisdom and prudence in my decisions, I realized that may not be the safest decision for me. So I can't ask for that. I can't do that. I mean, I could. Still weighing it out, but I don't know. I'm gonna probably. The attorney called me from that represented the one that I have now, but just got the judgment, to warn me also. So yeah, that happened right before all of this new change happened, and that has contributed to like, to me, it's like that's happening even before all of this. And I mean, I know that stuff is out there, and it's not like the first racist thing that's happened to me, but that's the first like thing that's happened that's put me in a position of like having to protect my life, or have to consider action, and actually feel like that kind of concern. I hate to even give it the power of saying fear, but deep concern about like somebody else, and it's the weirdest feeling. The person never has, as far as I know, met me. They don't know me as a person. Nothing. That's what's scary about this whole thing, is that people like that don't have to know me or people like me in order to hate me or to want to harm me, or people like me, because they've already constructed a me. They've already constructed a me and to hate, and they just superimpose that over anybody that resembles that avatar that they've created and have been hating, and the hate has been stoked for these many years. Labeled rapists and murderers and illegals, and I mean, I'm Native, but it doesn't matter, because who cares? Because how I look, like, the guy doesn't even know me, and it's death threats, and I have to like make decisions about my job and all of that, and then having to like think about the fact that I can't, I have to really think twice about acting on my own behalf to seek protection, because that may not look like protection for me after January. It's just so, and I wanted to share that, not because I'm like want people to feel sorry for me or anything, but after I put that post up about the truck, I mean, in a way, inside I was kind of like, I wanted to laugh at myself a little bit, but then I thought, but really, I'm not really laughing. And this life, the recovery's made me a self-examiner, so I wanted to kind of follow the thread back to why is it this serious? I mean, it is serious. Don't get me wrong, it's fucking serious, yes, but there seems to be a sharp edge to this for me, and that really, I mean, maybe it would be there anyway. It probably would, because my children are all wrapped up in my concerns, of course. So anyway, but that happening too, and just recently, and all of the ramifications from it, it's come into 3D view for me. So, and I can't control what my head does. It's an overdrive in like trying to protect, that I know that comes from that part of me that's like was in overdrive when I was younger, and abused and all of that. It's like it's that that part of me is still there, and it's, you know, it's in high gear, it's on high alert. So yeah, you know, it's like scanning the environment like crazy. It's like there's like this piece of my mind that's been turned on, and it's always been turned on a lower key level, because I can't walk around in society and not be aware, not read the room. There's a lot of habits you develop, and other people of color can confirm this. It's not me being a victim or anything else, you know, but you know, let's say I go to an interview. I mean, I know all the things to say and how to present myself. So, and you can see people a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times you see the look in their eye, they're like, oh, because I don't put on applications my race. I don't, because I just don't feel that is the most important thing to put down. So, and I don't want to be hired because of any, not that people do, but I mean, I think a company would choose to do that because of race, because if they looked at their demographics, they realize, shit, we have no minorities. We need to fix that. So they may, you know, that may influence a hire here and there, but I just want to be, I want to come to them based on my experience and yada yada yada. So when I walk into an interview, a lot of times they don't expect the brown girl, and then you can see it on their face. They're just kind of like, oh, hi, you know. And then I need to do a little song and dance and speak a certain way, and you know, let them know. And then you can see them kind of relax, be like, oh, okay, so she can be professional. She's okay, you know. It's I swear to God, it's true. And then we can move on with having like a regular conversation. You know, there's a lot of things in life and society and stuff where, you know, you learn to do certain things. Now, I know there's going to be people who are going to be like, well, I'm just who I am, and fucking whatever, and that's fine. You know, people find their own level of what they do and why they need to do it. I want to be taken serious in the professional world, and I know that no matter what color I am, if I walk into a professional environment and I act like, you know, I don't know how to carry myself, then that will affect me. But the difference between that and then right off the bat, the assumption is, I have to prove myself right off the bat. Like a lot of times for other people, it's just, they see a certain, it's just assumed that they're okay. Me, I have to go and prove it, and then I'm okay. Happens all the time. Anyway, so I don't know why I got all off on that. I was talking about awareness. So there's a lot of awareness that happens that I've grown up with, lived life with. I hadn't even really thought about it until like the last several years, when it's been highlighted about, you know, when race has become so like in the forefront of everything. It's also become in the forefront of my own mind and my own thinking, and I've had to really examine my own prejudices and my own thoughts and my own, you know, all of those things. So in a way, it's been valuable because it's uncovered things that I didn't really know I had. I didn't really realize I had adopted, or just, you know, things that I hadn't really taken ownership of and thought, I need to clean that closet out, you know. I mean, it's just like going through old stuff and realizing, that needs to go and that needs to go. That's kind of how it's felt because I don't live my life there, but it's just, you know, old stuff that I didn't really have a reason to pull out of the deep, dark recesses of the closets, you know. So, I mean, it's been useful that way, but so to have all of this happen, there's like that low-key having to always be on, you know, I can't afford not to be careful or aware of what's going on. That's just been, you know, I was taught that a long time ago. And of course, we just need to do that anyway. And it had a lot to do with the people I was hanging out with. You know, there's a lot of layers to it. But anyway. But then even after getting clean, life change, I realized, I still need to do that. So, and then having that low-key hum in life be turned up in volume to this scream for several years has really, you know, and then now everything flipped. And so the one thing that I had before was that there's protections, there's laws, there's civil rights, there's those things. But if things go the way they've been, it's said that it's going to go, the protections are going to be removed, and the right to treat people like me a certain way or assume things or yada is going to be normalized, and there are not going to be protections between that and whoever decides to act like that. So to have that happen with that homeowner, and then, you know, all of the stuff that happened recently, and yeah, my brain is just like, so I guess I'm just, and what's really interesting is I didn't say anything about that. Well, first of all, because I didn't want to be, you know, I don't know why, but really deep down inside, I felt ashamed about that. I felt it. I'm like, oh my God, that part is still there. Like when I was a kid, and, you know, and I felt ashamed because they abused me. Like somehow it was a reflection of my flaw. It was a reflection of me being, there was something about me that deserved it just by my existence. And I realized that is still there because I didn't say anything. I said something to a friend on the phone about it the other day, and I realized I hadn't really told anybody. My husband knew, the lawyer that I talked to knew, my ex-boss knew, my bosses now know, but I, you know, a couple other close friends, but there's a difference between keeping something private and then hiding something, and I knew by the feeling I was having, I had been hiding it, which meant I felt shame about it, which meant, why am I feeling shame about that? But when it, and I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but when something like that happens and it's it's connected directly to you as a person, like somebody has targeted you because of something about you that you can't control, but it is what you are, it's a very weird feeling. You know, like I can't control, I didn't have anything to do with what color I was born or the nationality that I am, and I'm not ashamed of that, although I feel like half of America says now that I should be. Yeah, so it's pretty complex right now, and I think that's why I'm going through a lot with all of this. Is it just feels so intense. It just feels so intense, you know. It's like I you know, and so I gotta not feel shame over his actions. It's just a weird thing to feel like I can say that to myself, but like there's half of America that would be like thinking what he did was a good thing. Maybe, or maybe not half. Not everybody that voted that way would feel that way, but there's a lot of them that would. Like it's become, you know, such a large part of the conversation that it's mind-blowing. We've gone through so much flipping in such a short amount of time. I don't know that we're really thinking about how much has flipped on this Othello board that we're on right now. And it flipped like that in the grand scheme of things. So I'm just going to be kind to myself and just be like, you know, no wonder your brain is hurting and it's on overdrive with thinking things like, oh my God, that truck there. I mean, maybe not today, but after January 20th, you know, who knows? They may just decide to gun their motor and knowing that they would get away with it, you know. Oh, she walked in front of me. Oh, okay, buddy, no problem, you know, whatever. One less brown person to worry about. Ha ha ha, you know. I mean, I don't know. Oh my God. So anyway, so I guess I just wanted to explain why I think like that, and I put that out there. You guys have been my sounding board right now. You're part of how I'm finding my way to getting my feet under me, and I'm sorry if what I put out there is like inappropriate at times or part of the problem and not the solution. But it's there, and I'm not going to apologize for it because it did happen, and that's where my brain does go right now. And it's not because I'm crazy, it's because there's extenuating circumstances that are affecting me, and I know that they're affecting other people. We're all going to go through it a different way at a different rate and have different reactions, and some obviously not at all. I mean, it obviously goes from the spectrum is like, overjoyed, elated, happy, celebrating, thinking this is the best thing that's ever happened and they hope it never ends, to, where I'm at, and, even more difficult, places where people are at with this. And so, it's all a spectrum, and I just wanted to explain. I don't want to hide that anymore either. And since it was direct, kind of relate it to that post I put up about that truck, about my thoughts about trucks, and not just trucks either, but especially trucks. I think it could be any car too. I mean, I find myself looking at people in the windshield and being like, are they safe? Am I going to be okay crossing in front of them? I mean, a lot of that is me. I know that. I know it has to do with, like, the hyper-vigilance has just been, it's through the roof. And I'm hoping it calms down as I go along and I continue to seek for my own level of sanity again and peace, because this is not, I have to get to a place where I remember again that this is not everything. This is this stuff, and that's, yeah, it's stuff to be concerned about, but it is not everything, and that I have to, no matter how long I have, it could be a lot longer than I think. I mean, things could pan out differently than I'm anticipating. I understand that. It's just been in the last 24 hours that I've been like, I had a conversation with a friend last night, somebody I deeply respect, and some of the things that she said, my knee-jerk reaction was, no, it's not going to be that. It's going to be worse. And then I thought, why? I have to practice open-mindedness, and what she's saying makes sense, and it could be not as bad as my hypervigilance is telling me it is, because it might not be, but it also could be. We both admit it, but it also could be. But there's the possibility that it may not be across the board, every single area, as bad as I think. So I had, that was a little bit of a relief in my mind, the open-mindedness. It's funny how, when we talk about practicing these principles in all our affairs, like, they still have an effect. Open-mindedness, having the open-mindedness to say, don't just write off what she's saying because it doesn't, well, why are you going around me like that? Jesus. Anyway, so, it doesn't match what I'm thinking. Just practicing that little bit of open-mindedness helped me release a little bit of that, and at least open my mind to, but it might not be all that bad. Like, I mean, even a little of it would be terrible, but still, it still helped. So anyway, I just wanted to, share that, and I'm going to work on, telling myself what that person said and did and would like to plan about my life has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with them. But then my brain says, yeah, but you're that color, so it does have something to do with you. It's a weird thing. It's weird. It is weird. It's so weird, because to me, my color is like one of the least important things about me. And so it's strange to be in a situation now where that is like the most important thing about me to some people, to a large portion of society, and government. I mean, that's a lot to have to adjust your mind around. So, and it's very real to me, and I think because of, my recent experiences, and I feel like it's like, and that's just a taste of what's to come. If that was happening before all this happened, just wait until a few weeks from now. I know some of you are going to be like, wow, you need to relax. Maybe I do. I probably do. I don't know. I also keep my mind open that where I'm at now with that is not where I should be, and so I'm keep handing it to my higher power to help me find balance, because balance is not easy to find right now in this. That's part of the process. That's part of my process right now, is where's the balance, the sanity. Yes, I have to be more careful than I've ever been in my life. I need my kids to be more careful. I need to be wiser, but I also need to be more grounded than I ever have. So thank you for letting me get that out there and not have it be a secret anymore. And you know, yeah, and yeah, that's just what happened, and that's why I wanted to explain why, you know, things like that go through my mind right now, because of I think recent events have a lot to do with it. All right, now love you guys. Bye.